Okay, so welcome to Creative Writing Modern Ages Global Educators Conference 2021. Today, our program will go like this. We have a welcome introductory note, and then we have a glorious lamplighting ceremony, and we'll hear a little bit about the Creative Writing Modern Age group. There will be a visual introduction of the speakers and moderators, and then the essence of the event. And then there will be the brief presentation of the papers or the speeches being delivered by the guest speakers, and a small brief about the next day's topic with the vote of thanks. So we are going to start because we are recording. Global Educators Conference is an initiative of Creative Writing Modern Age by the founder and director, Professor Rachna Chakrabarty. She is an exceptional leader in today's era and has been raising people up for 20 plus years individually. Her vision is aligned with the organization Creative Writing Modern Age, encouraging souls to write and speak together, and thus leading them towards empowerment, to elevate themselves in society, and to handhold them to rise. We are looking forward to much more coming our way in the future towards mutual growth and progress of humankind, and also to a great conference. So please play the video for the glorious lamp lighting ceremony now. Technical team.
Yes, before that, I just want to welcome all the speakers, and since it's the grand opening, yes, now we'll be going for the lamp lightning. Thank you very much, Dr. Koshi, for that beautiful introduction about Creative Writing Modern Age and the kind of work we are doing. So this always shows that it is there in the possibility whenever we want to do something, like the technical problems are there which comes in, but nothing can stop us from going with our mission.
Yes.
We are there with that aim, with that flavor, that we have a good concept in our mind, and this will surely help everyone who is studying the language, especially those who want to learn something from it, the educators, as well as the other people who have joined us today. It is really an honor for all of us to witness this grand event, and we have lot of speakers which have also congregated here today and ready to give their electrifying speeches for the topic which we are looking forward to. Now, before that, we can start with the lamp lightning. Lamp, as we know, is a symbol of enlightenment. It just gives us enlightenment, enlightening the soul, the heart, and we all have this light inside us. So whether we light a candle or we light a lamp, that doesn't matter. But lamp lightning is just a formality which just keeps us moving ahead. So I'll just put that video, I'll put it on sharing. Second. One second, I'm not getting the screen. So that was the lamp lightning.
Beautiful music, Rachna. So, thank you for lighting the lamp and your inspiring words. Now, I just want to speak a little more about creative writing modern age before we go forward with the program. As I told you before, it's an initiative started by Professor Rachna Chakrabarty to encourage and guide young poets and writers and build a platform for them where they can share their dynamic thoughts and improve under the guidance of some experienced writers. Working in this direction, they have conducted various events, literary contests, essay writing competitions, etc. And a yearly book has been published called The Chosen Ones. They also felicitate the most admired writer each month who stands a chance to become part of the yearly book. Poets Across the Globe is an international meet they hold where they have meetings with poets from different countries, sharing their views on poetry, the different elements and its need in today's time, from writing poems to reciting it in front of an audience. CWMA has organized Cosmo Poetica, a unique poetry slam for budding and experienced poets, and had an international storytelling fest, a 4-day event for storytelling people to come and express their ideas. And honestly, the experience was mesmerizing. We are truly grateful to our audience who always acts as a backbone in providing enormous support in all our endeavors. CWMA has now started a poetry club and storytellers club where we are trying to present as many writers to the world as we can. We dream to garner global attention on the importance of literature. So that's about CWMA. And now we will have the visual introduction of today's speakers and moderator. I'm the moderator. Rachna, can you put on the videos?
Yes, yes.
We have Claudia Theodora. We have Nada Radkovich. We have Tanya Simmons. We have Swati Kaire. And we also have Ruben. I don't know if Ruben is here. Yeah, I saw him earlier. I don't know if he's still here. So we welcome all of them. They are mighty scholars. And we're going to have a very good time.
Welcome, everyone.
So that was a beautiful.
रचना जी प्लीज आप चेक करें एक बार.
What, Dheeraj? That is a beautiful introduction. I hope you're very happy with the visual introduction. We try to keep it very short so you will have maximum time to present your papers. I just want to tell you the essence of the event. So what is the aim of this event? And just like Rachna was saying, this is a unique event. That's why I was happy to participate. And I'm very selective because there are a lot of events which deal with the influence of English on native languages and the influence of English as a global language and as a phenomenon. But this is the first time I'm also coming across the reverse study where we are studying the influence of native languages on such a global and wide scale on English. That's really unique. So, there was an Oxford Essential Dictionary of Foreign Terms in English made by Jennifer Speak, and Marc Lafleur as a comprehensive reference that included detailed information, history, and usage of thousands of foreign words and phrases used by English speakers. There are words from more than 40 languages, including Arabic, Chinese, Dutch, Latin, Portuguese, Spanish, and Yiddish. Terms from cooking, fashion, and music jostle with others from fine arts, history, law, politics, business, and travel in this great reference to words from around the globe. This shows that English is so powerful because it is not only English, but it allows adaptation and assimilation from any language. If first the borrowings were from the past of Latin and Greek, then it borrowed from Greek Koine and Aramaic for the Bible, and then from neighboring countries like France and Germany, and then European countries like Holland, from Dutch language, then from countries all over the world due to colonialism and imperialism, and later due to world trade and global travel. Borrowing that included Arabic, Sanskrit, Hindi, Urdu, Persian, Pashtun, in today's languages, like the recent word Ayo from India, from Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Ramendra Kumar will know what I'm talking about, which is, an interjection. And now it has entered the English language. Once the OED, the Oxford English Dictionary, even brought out a section of words at the back that are purely from India, and to explain them to non-Indian and pan-Indian speakers or writers or readers of the English language. Now, this is only in the matter of vocabulary. Now, here in this conference, with its panel of distinguished speakers, who will touch on all aspects of the native influence of other languages on our target language specified of English, in its phonetics or phonology, in its morphology, in its syntax, semantics, and grammar, via research papers that are going to be presented in the coming days, showing that we truly live in a global village, where communication and expression has now to be studied in terms of osmosis and symbiosis, and no longer in terms of separation, in terms of commonalities, differences, and similarities, in terms of culture and nationality, but also in terms of equity and equality, socially speaking. They're all languages gain, and the uniqueness and richness of none is lost, even while these crossovers take place and are studied by us and researched as academics and as thinkers, and those coming from any fields. So this is, the essence of this event. And now I want to introduce the guest of honor, Dr. Ignat. I hope my pronunciation is correct. If not, forgive me. Dr. Ignat Claudia Teodora from Romania. She works at the University of Oradea, Bihor, Romania, in the education sector. And she is the head of the press and media office there. And she looks like a very sweet, nice scholar. And she is also, she has done her master's in English and French literature from the same university. And she is an expert in philology, which was also the subject that J.R.R. Tolkien was an expert in. And she also did history and philology in high school, and philology and governmental administration. She has a diploma in that too. And diploma here means master's, okay? It's different from India where we use the word diploma. So she has a double MA in case it's not clear. And she knows Romanian, English, and French. And she's a translator between the three languages. And she also knows Hindi. She has written a book on Romanian Hindi conversational guide, which fascinates me. And she has the experience of 5 years working in India in a multicultural environment. Her her skills is, she says she can survive anywhere. And I almost feel like I am welcoming her home because she was in India for 5 years, although it's only online. So thank you for being with us, ma'am. And you can, you're free. The floor is yours now. You can speak.
Thank you for a lovely presentation, and thank you for having me in this wonderful event. I must tell you that you started by saying that lamp, it's like enlightenment. You must know in Romanian we have the same word, lamp, lampa actually, which means the same, light. You know, we light something. It is like an instrument which give us light, and we see. I mean, the Sanskrit words are coming to Romanian language like beautifully. And if you study these two languages, you'll find a wonderful connection between those two languages, because the Romanian language is actually Indian European language. So, you know, but let's speak about English. I spoke once about the beauty of English language touched by Indian languages. It's like I'm very I love English. Why? Because of English I could study about Indian, and I could visit India, and I could live in India because of English. And of course, I used to live in Mumbai, but what you didn't say, and I studied Mohiniyattam, Indian classical dance. So for me, India, it's more than, my second home. It's like my way of living, actually, because I love everything about India. So, but let's speak about English. English is spoken in almost everywhere in this world, and the entire people can reach each other, can talk to each other, and we can study everything and anything we want because of English language. But of course, because English language was spoken in India once, and if I'm not wrong, is an the third like national language in India, like official language. English, of course, was like touched by Hindi languages, not Hindi languages, Indian languages, sorry. And now today we can speak about an Indian English. Why? Because if many English words interference with the Indian languages, it's the same with the Indian languages which touched English, and in a beautiful, beautiful way. And when I was living there, I used to notice that, and we'll speak about pronunciations first, because even now I'm trying to speak proper English, if I may say. In India, I was speaking English with that Indian beautiful accent, actually. Of course, like my friends, but it's nothing wrong. The same you said, it's nothing wrong to have an accent, to have, that particularity of your own language, but you can understand each other. This is the most beautiful thing about speaking English. You know, I have a paper. I studied a little bit about you know, linguistic interference from Hindi in Indian English actually, and it's like of course we have many chapters here because the interference can be in many fields like phonetics, like grammatical, lexical, spelling, of course. And you said today we are talking about phonetics. So phonological interference is the strongest and perhaps the hardest to avoid. Of course, because you are living with the people there, and even you are coming with your own English. Here, there in India, if you are talking about with your friends every day, every single day, your accent maybe is changed. So that interference, as I said before, is the most difficult to avoid. And it's okay, because, you know, I will speak about Hindi. Its sounds and rhythm and intonation, sorry, interfere into English language naturally. So, of course, sorry, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, please, I would request the speakers there, please keep your mics on mute. Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. So it's like I will give you a very simple example for it. I could hear many times saying in India, asking for a pizza. Pizza means pizza actually, but because of their pronunciation, maybe in Hindi language, that sound ts, it's not there. Maybe that's why for them it's much more easier to say pizza instead of pizza. But let's speak about other things like English sounds are very different with the Hindi sounds. And many a times Indian English speakers are not familiar with the rules of English pronunciations. They just speak English in that way, even they are not very much aware of that. It's coming naturally, as I said. Due to interference of Hindi, deletion of sounds like we'll see R does not occur in any word position in the speech of most of the Indian English speakers, whereas in standard British English sounds. So there are differences between English speakers with the Indian speakers. I will give you some examples like in English, you said in conservative English, British standard, standard British English, you said conserve. You cannot hear that R there, but in India, you'll say conserve. So that R will be there, definitely. Like pearl, another word. Like shirt, another word. So you see, few differences, but they are there because Indian language is interferes with you know, English. So it is there are few differences in the pronunciations, but what I found very interesting, like words spring, for example, if you use I before spring, for example, like e-spoon or e-spiral or e-school, you know, it's like a particularity. I found it only in India. So it's like, you know, from Indian languages. It's coming that I sound before few words. Then we say like also in English language, there is no one-to-one correlation between spelling and pronunciation. That means whereas almost every Indian language is phonetic, every letter of alphabets of Indian languages denotes sounds which is generally same in their spoken and written form. Similarly, Hindi matches the spoken form with the written form, whereas Roman languages often lack such quality. This causes English silent sounds to be pronounced by most of the Indian speakers, who are not learning English, but they are speaking English naturally because English is there,
Okay,
is very
zoom
much there in India.
global extra.
Sorry, you said something and I couldn't understand.
Please, all others, when one person is speaking, all others, please mute your mic, because otherwise there will be disturbance. Thank you. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay, then. So I will give you another example. Standard English word, it's like bridge. You cannot hear that letter D, but in Indian English, you'll say bridge with D there. So there are differences, of course. You know, but I would love to say that of course from India are coming many, you know, how I say, let's speak about yoga, because yoga is everywhere in the world. Of course, you will not find any other word in English or in your native language like yoga. So another example, you'll use yoga everywhere in the world. If you speak about that meditation, you know, when you are Zen, for example, you use that word. Zen is coming from Sanskrit, is not your language who has that word. So we borrowed from Indian languages many words, and it's natural because from India it's coming like culture. It's coming many, you know, that cultural cuisine. It's coming many forms or dance, and you know, of course, when you study all of that, you have to learn the terms. So definitely English borrowed from Indian languages the words. So it's like that. It's very easy. You can, of course, you can make very complicated paper about that, but I'm speaking about my own experiences because I traveled a lot in India, and I heard many languages spoken there, and I borrowed from them. And coming home in Romania, of course, we are talking about English today, but coming home to Romania, I found many words borrowed from Sanskrit, actually. So yes, Indian languages have their own beautiful power to touch other languages. And today we are talking about English, of course. And I love to say that, to speak about that Indian English. And many Indian writers who, decided to write in English straight away, they are using many Indian terms. And it's okay. It's still English. It's still English. It's not that pure British English, but it is a beautiful English they are writing in. So it's like that. It's like that. So I have. I will give you another example. I'm thinking about now Avatar, for example. We use Avatar everywhere in the world, but who knows Avatar is coming from Sanskrit? Few people knows that. So it's very interesting you are thinking about that subject, because we must tell people that India influenced actually almost the entire world, because we are talking about mythology, we are talking about religion, we are talking about culture, numerology, cosmetics. I'm thinking about the word shampoo, for example, which is coming from Sanskrit also. Voila. Let's speak in French also. It's a lovely, lovely combination. It's a beautiful combination among those two languages, Hindi and English. And of course, who are another Indian language speaker, they know about other kind of influences. I can speak only about Hindi because I used to hear around me only Hindi speakers in Mumbai when I lived there. So it is very interesting. And another differences among Hindi speakers and English, native English speakers, each is like, I will give you another example. I don't want to, to be wrong about that. Not only does he have to have perfect relax, it's unusual to use that he have to have perfect relax. It's that repetition, which is not common in British English. It's you can notice, must be an Indian English speaker. So yes, it's like that. So I will quote from the beautiful novel, The Guide. Did you not promise that you would never mention it again? that did there, it's not in British English. You'll not use it. So yeah, few differences are there. But I will say, of course, Indian languages influenced English, but beautifully, when I'm watching a lot of Indian movies, and of course I will notice, even the movie is made in Hindi, you'll see few English words there. So you see, it's Indian English or English Indian, I don't know. It's like a very nice combination between two languages. So it's like that. I wrote a lot about this, but I say I will stop here because I don't want to keep you more. So I'm just, very happy to be with you today, and I will, of course, I will study more about this subject, because it is really very interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you so much, Ignat Claudia Teodora, our guest of honor. That was a fascinating talk. How you summed up beautifully the linkages between India and Romania in terms of language. How you started with that reference to how the word enlightenment and lamp lighting is similar or same in both countries, and how you spoke about how Indian words and Indian influences have crept into all countries and languages, because we have something to offer which is not there in other cultures. And finally, you summed it up beautifully by comparing Indian English with British English and showing what is unique and interesting and beautiful about our own use of it. And it was really nice to hear you pick out some examples, especially that intrusive I in the beginning of a word, which people don't speak of except in a pejorative sense, but you could, normativize it. So I thank you for that. And these
Thank you very much.
Yeah, these nuances and subtleties are what we really hope to get from this conference. So thank you very much. And now we go to another expert for the next talk. And that is
Dr. Koshi, before that, a small token of love for ma'am from our side.
Okay. There is a certificate.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, you can receive the certificate from us online first.
Thank you. You are very kind. Oh. बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Dr. Koshi, you can continue.
Yeah, that was very nice to hear you speaking Hindi. It was really great. So let's go on to our next speaker. She's an expert in phonetics, especially, and that is Nada Ratkovich. She's a professor, trainer, educator, researcher, assistant professor in the Faculty of Economics, Business, and Tourism a split professor mentor, Vet School, Sinch International Internship University, IIU, India. And she has a few honorary doctorates in human rights, social rights, and is finishing her doctorate in Croatia. She has a diploma as a computer informatics STEM expert and is a certified accountant and certified ISO internal auditor, an active educator, trainer, researcher, writer, and reviewer. She is founder and coordinator of national and global projects, EU Erasmus Plus, STEM, e-twinning projects, and she's very active in national and international educational organizations. She writes and publishes papers in domestic and international journals and work reviews. She's author and co-author of university and high school books and handbooks. And her paper is about experimental phonetics, and I'll let her talk more about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. I want to thanks to Mrs. Rachna for this invitation. I'm really honored and pleasure to be here today with these great leaders, global leaders and leaders from India and around the world. What will I say? Yes, phonetics is a scientific study. If we talk about science, and it is a study of sounds that we used in language and how the sounds are produced. So how we transfer them from the speaker to hear and how they are heard and perceived. First, I want to tell about the importance of phonological information in reading, and it has been studied extensively in the literature. We have many literature about these topics. Reading broadly defined both visual, word recognition, silent reading, and reading aloud. We must compare phonology and phonetics. Phonology encompasses segmental and suprasegmental information. What are that? What are segments, and what did the segments consist? Segments consist the vowels of consonants, while the suprasegmental features are speech attributes that accompany consonants and vowels, but are not limited. They are not limited with single sounds, and also not often extend syllables, words, or phrases. Both of them, both of segmental and suprasegmental information, provide a useful information in spoken word recognition. For example, the pronunciation of the English words pie and buy differ only in the initial phoneme segment, but their meanings and syntactic categories are completely different. So we know what means pie and what means buy. If we talk about the sound world records, then we have stress. When stress is placed, then we have the first syllable, and it means an account of facts. When stress is placed on the second place, like a syllable, we have a record, record. It's on the second place. Then that word, record, it becomes a verb, and it means set down in writing, and that is different meanings. So as our great speakers before me said, all of these words have different meanings. So if she talks about lampa, and also in Croatia I said lampa. Lampa is also meaning a light, and I mean that many these words are coming. We have many same words with the same meanings. How different type of phonological consonants function is reading in general. If we said about segments and suprasegments, many studies are talking about this. What about the eye tracking study? The eye tracking study showed that the number of stressed syllables in the word had an impact on word recognition in silent reading. Our readers, so we here are, I think we are all here readers, and readers spend more time on words that contain two stressed syllables. It means if we talk about the English, it is the same meaning that lexical stress in English, or if we said that in Hindu or in maybe Chinese language is a great example for this. My Croatian language is really hard language, but it's not example. It's not a good example when you talk about this topic. Here we have here a dual rote model of reading. I want not talk a lot about this, but I want to say here that if we communicate in English language, we must have that good competences in speaking, also in English conversation here. All of us from Romania, from Croatia, nobody of us are not, we are not origin except our Dr. Tenia. Our Dr. Tenia, she's from USA, so her pronunciation will be excellent, more better than us. And we are talking about this English language, but we are not origin speakers. Let's see the example words keen. We can say keen and keen. Many words look similar, but we have a different pronunciation and also make many errors when we are pronouncing some words. I think that I today also make many mistakes in my pronunciation. As a professor of statistics, this topic is very interesting, and you can make many researchers. And what methodology will you use in this research? For this is the best using descriptive statistics. So I mean descriptive qualitative approach, and that approach I use because it show a deep understanding of the aspect of problem, not inferential, because we are not looking we are not taking quotas for people. So everybody wants to make a very specific research and see, like example, what is going in your country and make a comparison, make a compare with others. So the study must, I think, for this topic, the whole study must be descriptive, and they must use analysis and that phenomena that occurs with the aim of providing a broad and deep understanding of formulation of the research problem. We have here many problems. When we said about the discussion, what to say, as professors, we have many learning models in the classroom. And if we talk about the language and what we use in the language, here, what about, I want to say about experimental phonetics. That is why I mentioned the researchers and how to make a research and why to use descriptive qualitative statistics, because This is a branch of general phonetics, and it applies like an experimental method because this is a study of sounds, and also we said it is talking about human speech units. So the scientific field includes many basic areas of phonetics, articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. And this experimental method is used to investigate many numerous types, including segmental phonetics and suprasegmental phonetics. That is an overview. I think that is a beginning of overview. And if you want to make a very quality research about this, it really needs more time. And when you look and when you try to find researchers, I can say that maybe in 1 year you can find one research about this topic because it is very hard to make this. Why? Because you can be a great statistic, you can be great econometric, you can know how to do research, but you don't know this field of English language. And opposite, you can be a professor of English language and you don't know to make a great research. And I think that that is a problem. And I think that most must be there must be many courses on this topic. Here we can say about this, we can say we have word stress, we have annotation. What is word stress? In the sentences, you have a sentence stress, and it can that can be used really distinctly. If you talk about annotation, we have vocal fields, we have attitudinal, and the frequency of vibration. So I really start. I make this research, but I think it is not finished, and I think that it is only a beginning. Because when I was thinking about this, I see that many informations are missing to me. Why? Because I'm not an original professor of English language, and that part miss for me, and I must learn a lot about this topic to make a quality research. And so what are the solutions? I think that solutions are practicing English segmental and suprasegmental phonetics. That kind of education and that kind of courses, what we must have to know more about this topic are we must improve our phonetic skills. So that courses we need, and then we make a great theoretical background how English should sound in connected speech, and also expose a large number of practical exercises. I see that I miss many. I don't have many practical exercises. Why don't I have that to make a great research? Because I'm not a professor of English language. So we must follow the topics. We must read a lot. We must listen and transcribe and others. So when we work and when we talk, there are comments at the beginning. Our wonderful moderator said we have future comments on British and American variety, and that is also a problem to us. We will use a British or American variety to do this, and how will be addresses that stress principles, the rhythmical principles and the words. So segmental phonetics will be and must be focused on mastering segments like particle problems. And who has that? I can say in Europe that we, Croatian, and also very many have German speakers. German speakers have that segmental phonetics. Also, the work must allow you to control your own pronunciation. And also, we must practice a lot about the pronunciation, and we must, I can say, be a better teachers of English. So I'm not a teacher of English, but this also is meant. This also means for us who are using English in speaking, because we are spotting many mistakes. And we also are trying to find, we try to correct our mistakes. So methods of teaching and learning, a typical class will and must consist a short theoretical description of English phonetics, followed by, I said, exercises. We need more exercises. And at home or courses that we can use massive open courses or something. We have a lot of that on internet. We first must record. We must record our speech, and when we do that, we can listen, and then our English professor can make examine our mistakes. We must listen text. We must prepare our short text dialogues. We must prepare speeches. Like today, we have to make speeches, and we must discuss about that. So that are my suggestions for this topic, and why we can't do this better. And if we want to make a quality research, we must take also the courses, and we must be more educated. And took books to take courses and learn from phonetic dictionaries. So I would finish my speech with this. I'm very happy to make this, because I see that I really need a lot and more of be more educated to in this field, in this English language and in phonetics, and when we talk about this topic.
Thank you, Neda Ratkovich. That was a very good talk and very scholarly. And it was good to see you break down phonetics into segmental and suprasegmental phonetics, and about the need for experimental phonetics, articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, auditory phonetics, and going into the suprasegmental features and segmental features like word stress, intonation, and giving us a very good overview about how to do research and bringing in teaching and learning. So it was really thought-provoking, and I'm sure we all listened carefully and have taken much away from it, which will give us something to think about, and also about research, whether it's possible to do something more in that area, the comparison between American and British English, and so many other things. Rachana, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, it was really superb, Nana, to hear from you. And it's really true that learning never stops. It's a process. And the more we learn, The topic given was just to go back and find out really wonderful learning and a lot of takeaways from there. Already, Dr. Koshi had summed up what was there, and I really enjoyed the knowledge which you shared with us. If anyone would love to ask anything to Nada for her paper, which she submitted today about native influence, or else we'll move on with the next speaker. Actually, Nada had explained it in such a way that there is no questions actually to ask. I feel that she has very clearly said every point minutely, whichever she has taken. So right now we have nothing to ask, and we are just trying to digest what Nada has told us, and all the pointers. I have written it down in my book already. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would request
Someone has to mute their mic.
yeah, Umesh, please be careful. Your mic is unmute. So now it is muted. Anyway,
Okay.
so Dr. Koshi, you can take over.
Yeah, so we continue, and we have now a very different kind of presentation. It's of course still connected, but it's fascinatingly different. And this is by Tanya Simmons from USA, who will talk on teaching strategies being utilized in teaching phonetics within the deaf community and its impact on learning the English language. And Tanya Simmons, Dr. Tanya Simmons is the founder of Healing for the Nations Incorporated. She helps train, equip, empower people in various nations. She believes in making a difference through the love of God, compassion, and strategic impact amongst the developing nations after the loss of her husband. She has been involved with multiple humanitarian relief projects through Haiti, Ukraine, USA, and Pakistan. She is the head chancellor of the Breakthrough Seminary University registered in Africa, UK, and other nations. She has been in healthcare as a registered nurse. As a professor of nursing, she is raising the next generation of leaders in the nursing field. She is the founder of Global Empowerment Firm, which empowers through online workshops, challenges, and education. She's also a member of the Power Women of Excellence community, Strathmore's Who Worldwide of Business Leaders, a global change agent, a chancellor of Breakthrough Theological University, and she has a neuroscience oncology background. It's a very strange mix. I'm sure she'll have something really significant to add to the rich feast we're already having about phonetics.
Well, thank you so much. Can everyone hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much to the founder and Rockne and everyone on the platform for the invitation. It's an honor to be with you all from straight live from Columbus, Ohio, today in USA. I love India. I love all the nations that are represented on the platform today. This is fabulous how we can come together as educators and experts and talk and discuss about the topic and the theme of phonetics today. When I was researching and I was thinking about this topic, of course, I'm in the healthcare field. I've been in the healthcare field for over 27, 28 years. And it's my desire to present today from a perspective of health and wellness and how that intertwines with phonetic learning. So, and also how it impacts, of course, the English language itself. But when I was researching this, I noticed that obviously science is backing the fact that location is pertinent to how English is spoken. Of course, that's nothing to, which is new for us. I mean, even in the US, we see that the North and the South vary in how we speak, such as, the word y'all is used in the southern area of our country, and the North part, where, of course, we don't say that at all. So we see that location is pertinent to how we speak and how we talk. Geographical, obviously, location is pertinent, whether it be in India or whether it be in Britain. We see tomato, potato, the differences there. But we see that science backs this in that the pronunciation of ejection consonants, which are basically rapid bursts of air that we're speaking of, is mainly, we see that science through the data is mainly, it's spoken in higher regions of elevation. And so we see that geographical locations and how the English language is being taught directly affects how we speak. Of course, we understand that. But I will be talking about phonetics, strategies, and how it's being taught within the deaf community, hard of hearing. And I want to go back to basics. And so the basics is, obviously, we know that there are 3 ways of learning. We know that there's visual, we know that there's tactile, kinesthetic learning. We also know that there's auditory learning. Depending on how one learns best, we understand that that's how we should be teaching. We understand how we learn and process for the majority of students, but the dynamics that make up how we learn may be different. And I want to speak to that a little bit in regards to environmental factors of how we learn, the factors that affect our learning and how we process phonetically. Of course, it's environmental, it's cultural related. Obviously, we've been talking about that, whether it's different nations. We understand even in Africa that, there are different dialects. There are different, native languages within a country or a region. So we understand that environment, cultural dynamics, family dynamics also have a play in how we are taught or how we teach phonetics as well. We also understand that our own health has a play in how we process phonetically. When I speak to this, I'm speaking to people who are deaf or hard of hearing. We have to learn how to teach them with different strategies. Children, whether it be children or young adults, or older adults, dyslexic people with those dyslexic diagnoses. Obviously, we need to tailor our teaching and strategies differently for dyslexic patients or children, because they process differently, they read differently, neuro-wise, obviously they're processing differently. So we need to think on these things when we as teachers are teaching. We obviously see hard of hearing. So when we're teaching, phonetics, or we're going back to basics, whether it be in grammar school, elementary, here, the way that we teach phonetics is different with a hearing student. We have much more structured ways or strategies of teaching, which intensifies, our teaching skills, which will, of course, the students will increase the results of their phonetic learning by the way that we're teaching them, of course, just by the different strategies. We understand in teaching we can use certain strategies and interventions. Some of these intervention strategies I want to break down, such as auditory cues, for hard of hearing or the deaf community. We obviously know, and for people who aren't hard of hearing or children, because that's typically when phonetics are taught, is in the early stages of development, whether it be elementary or early education. Acoustic highlighting. We know that that's one strategy, making a sound louder within a word. Home, for example. Number 2 would be a voiceless consonant whisper of the whole word, such as ache. We speak and we teach phonetics, ache, and we teach the young adult or young children that way. The third strategy would be increased stress on a syllabus, a syllabi, such as homework. And so we talk and we're reinforcing those kinds of strategies with our children. If they're a visual learner, we can turn to visual phonics. And so I'm talking and addressing the way we're learning phonetics itself. And I've already talked about the different dynamics that affect phonetic learning, whether it be environmental, whether it be family, cultural, geographic location. And so these are all going back to the very basics of how we are taught these things. So let's talk about visual phonetics. We see the sound was developed. You can see the sound. It was developed in 1982 by the Learning International Institute. It consists of 45 phonetic hand and cue learning gestures, which we have seen strategy like data and we've outcomes of this type of learning. We see that it has been highly effective. And so you can see that phonetic cueing or visual phonics is effective, especially in the hard of hearing community of our children. And we need to go back to basics. We need to go back to how we're teaching our children, the ways and the strategies we're using and utilizing, because during the pandemic, things have changed, even in the learning environment. We are utilizing technology much more, and we need to keep up to date with the leading edge research on what is best and what is most effective to teach phonetics. So we see that. We also see another strategy of cued speech, which was developed in 1964, which was and is used for DHH or hard of hearing students. Cued speech is used also with children or young adults who are not hard of hearing as well. We see that it's been very effective. We also see that another strategy is syllabication, words that have rhythm to them. And we see that that's been effective. It's an effective strategy of teaching. So rhythmic words, rhythm words in the use of teaching phonetics has been has produced a very good outcome as well. We also see another strategy called finger spelling. It's also been used globally. And, so that's, we see that that's been, it's been utilized and being utilized more and more. So another strategy that we see within this kind of community is tactile kinesthetic cueing. Production cues of phonetics, which one would look at mouth movements for learning phonics. And so because we understand that the students hard of hearing, they obviously are being cued by our mouth movements or by our lips and repetition. And then they start to pick up on, how one can learn phonetically like that, which I find is very fascinating, to be honest. And that's why I wanted to bring this up and bring this to the forefront, because I feel like this isn't regularly talked about. I think that this community is very important. And I wanted to address how we are teaching phonetics, yes, to our hearing population, but as well as to the deaf population. They learn this method by producing, obviously, the people who do not use their voice effectively, which is, part of the deaf community, obviously, can use this mouth movements to help with phonetic learning. So we see that we've seen that over and over, that is a really good strategy. We also see ASL being utilized, which is sign language in this population. And we ask ourselves, well, is this important to discuss in how it impacts our English language? Well, of course it is, because obviously, like I've said, family development, culturally, our culture has a part to play in how we are learning phonetics and how we are teaching phonetics. Geographical location, the breakdown of that is very important to know, and it goes back to our location, the environment, family factors, and how we're being taught. And so these things are very important to discuss. But ASL in this population for word production, sign language with signing is relatively the same globally being taught, but can be different based on obviously our culture, word association. We see that can be different. And so those things have to be taken into consideration in how we're teaching our young adults and our children. Teachers must have a variety of teaching strategies within their tool belt, especially through this pandemic, and how we're teaching. I think our teaching strategies are definitely are changing. And I think that we have to keep up to date with the new strategies at hand, and how we're affecting our communities, and how we're raising up the next generation of leaders. I think that's very, very important. Obviously, culture, environment, family, growth and development, even nutrition, diet has a part to play in learning. We also see if they have any health issues or diagnoses, we understand how that can affect learning and phonetics, and how it can affect their speaking of the English language. I'm addressing learning holistically right now, and not just from a just a kind of a short perspective. I'm looking at holistic learning. And so we all, during this, all have an active role to play in development of speech and communication, as well as phonetic learning. So teachers are responsible for developing phonetic awareness, sound-based properties of words, that all sound, of course, letter associations to be made, learning new roles of phonetics. Please mute your mic. I appreciate that. Thank you. Learning new roles of phonetics. How we taught in the 1960s is no longer how we teach today in 2021, although we still are using some of those strategies. Techniques have changed. Our learning styles have changed. Our teaching has had to change due to the things that we've experienced even over the past 2 years. Strategies have changed globally as far as teaching. We understand that the ways we've taught even over the past 2 years have had to pivot and change, and we've needed to be, how should I put this, open-minded, flexible in the way that we're teaching phonetics in general. The same language that we read is how we communicate. So that's why I feel like going back to the very basics and how we're teaching our young adults and our children is very important in learning how we're teaching phonetics, the development of that skill set within them, and how it affects the English language. DHH, or hard of hearing, within this community, our goal, we aim to create mental image associations of the sounds and the pictures that we represent to them. They obviously see a picture, or we place a picture in front of them, and then they associate that. We teach them phonetics in multiple ways and strategies that I've already addressed. These students develop their phonetic skills differently. We know that in ways, no matter the culture, the process the store of how they store those word associations, the ladder recall, sound-based information. They process all of that differently. So we know that our teaching strategies have to be different, which can affect, obviously, their phonetic translation or their learning. The National Reading Panel defines a critical building block of phonetic skills for success. We see that that's very, very important. We also see that overall, we see the development of the teaching strategies that we've had to use and utilize is very important in regards to this population. We need to maintain and obviously be on the cutting edge of different strategies that we are using. And so I just wanted to, it was my goal today to address this because I feel like this is a very, very critical, sometimes not addressed community. And I just had it on my heart to bring that up, bring it out in the fact that, yes, we understand that geographical locations, again, family, whether there's support, lack thereof, that makes a difference in phonetic learning and building that skill set. We understand, because even we see parenting today has changed. We see that how we touch base with our children and our students has changed because of the demands that we go through as adults. And we need to make sure that we are touching base with our children, that we are tapping into their needs, and that we're pouring into the next generation effectively. So we see that, different pronunciations, we see different skill sets that are being imparted, different strategies, teaching wise, that all plays a big part. Even health and wellness, diet, nutrition, and how we develop our phonetic skills plays an impact and a role in today's society. So I just wanted to bring that up. I hope you all learned some new information from this, and we can be more sensitive to the deaf community and teaching them phonetically and impacting and teaching them English or whatever language it may be. Because I love diversity, I love different cultures, and but most importantly, we were talking about how phonetics impacts the language and learning English and etc. So I hope this blessed you all, and it was my honor to be with you guys today. And remember our deaf community. Remember people who have challenges and obstacles to overcome, such as neuro issues or dyslexic issues. We are the ones that make the difference, and we can make a strong impact in the next generation and raising them up, to be great communicators and great leaders, and to learn our English language. So thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
With a humane angle. And I hope this is being recorded because it will be very good to go through it again and get the full meat of the presentation, because you packed in so many things that it is difficult to get all of it by just listening to it once. So I hope you have recorded it, Rachna.
Yes, yes.
And, it will come on YouTube.
Yes, yes.
Especially the part about visual phonics and kinesthetic learning.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that feedback. I think it's very important to know that, different people learn differently. And I think that goes back to our teaching, and it goes back to education. It goes back to elementary and how we're taught, and the family dynamics, the lack of support or the support that's given, the diet, the nutrition that's established. I mean, I'm looking at education holistically, even geographically. Look at the global educators on this platform. We each have have different experiences, we have different things we can relate to. But when we come together, when we bring our thoughts and our different thing, you know, our ways of teaching and learning, and we can make such a big impact just learning together, how we can learn different strategies, how can we make a bigger impact. I mean, I think that's the reason why we are on today. That's why I chose to present at this wonderful conference, and because I can learn, you know, I'm learning from everyone here on this platform, but hopefully you've gotten some really good value out of what I've said, and from looking at it from a holistic point of view today about learning and teaching and being, you know, understanding of, you know, disabilities, how to overcome them, how to be more effective, because I feel like sometimes it's just not spoken of a lot with, you know, and every person's different and they learn differently. And so I think we need as educators to be flexible and adaptable in how we can best educate phonetics and educate our students to be the best they can be. So I hope that was impactful, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Tanya. It was really a pleasure having you.
My
Mm.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
I hope you are able to continue listening, though you go back to nursing.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, there was
I'll be
one that
listening.
was really fascinating, which was about, you know, mental imaging, how we can connect the sound and the sight and bring about mental imaging. But I don't want to talk too much because there are two more people waiting. So,
Okay. Bye-bye.
now, you know, Dr. Swati, are you there?
Yes, sir,
Dr.
I'm here.
Yeah. So, Dr. Swati Jaydeep Khaire is teaching at the Greater Mumbai Education Society's High School and Junior College in Vilpal, Mumbai, India. She has a PhD in English. She has a double MA in English literature and in education. She has a B.Ed in methods of teaching, English and geography. And they're all from Mumbai University. She has an evidence-based education certificate from Harvard University, diploma in school management, school leadership management, certificate course in French language. And a talk is going to be on native influence on English language in the context of India, vernacular languages in India, the importance of English in India as second language, L2, Indian classrooms and vernacular languages, importance of pronunciation, bilingual environment in India, influence and impact of mother tongue with PowerPoint slides that she will show us. So my mother tongue is Malayalam. I hope to really learn something from you, ma'am. And I think that, like Ramendra Kumar sir was saying, it's not really bilingual, but for many of us it's trilingual and trilingual, although there's no such word. With 4 languages, 5 languages. So please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, assembled audience over here. It's all great pleasure for me to present my talk in front of the obvious presence over. So without wasting the time, I'll just start with my content. That will be the better, I think. Like when we talk about the native languages in India, on the same line, okay, when we talk like on the vernacular language, which simply defined as the language spoken in this street. This is the language that will be heard spoken amongst the common people and used to define and identify the groups of people. The vernacular language impacted and changed the cultures during the early centuries. There are several factors that contribute and are responsible for the rise and spread of the vernacular language. When we talk about English and Indian society, English is valued highly in the Indian society, with a lot of prestige being attached to the language, as in one Hindi movie, English Wenglish. that is star cast by well-known actress Sri Devi, as everybody know about this movie. Okay, it is star cast by Sri Devi. The name of the Hindi movie is English. As the movie present very heart-rending story of a mother who ridiculed by her own daughter in her English medium school, where her mother can't able to speak in English, where her mother, and as she too insulted by her husband in same context. So this is the importance of English we can see in India by such film stories too. A lot of time and energy is dedicated to teach or learn English in the Indian schools. Despite this, not much attention is given to enhance the speaking skill in the average Indian classroom, that the learner will pick up the skill from the general classroom activities and instructions over a period of time, the false assumptions made. So as a result, the learners are not able to develop this skill and hence lack confidence while conversing in English. To further this, though articulation of individual sounds while teaching, this language is addressed. Teaching of pronunciation is not given much importance either. In regular Indian classrooms, the importance of native-like accent is not given due stress. One strong reason that could be attributed to this could be that number of dialects found in so large that it is practically impossible to address all the accent in a classroom. This is a serious challenge in the Indian classroom. The area of sound relating to spoken English and to pronunciation in the Indian context need to be consciously addressed to counter this challenge and to make native-like accent in Indian learners more plausible. The importance of pronunciation in communication cannot be denied. In fact, it is as important as grammar and vocabulary. Yet, the evidence of mother tongue influence on English is very obvious. This manifests in the form of incorrect pronunciations. Pronunciation error may be due to many issues, guesswork, of vagueness of the correct form of a word or sentence, or a general ineptness of the language could be the reason of mispronunciation. The most common reason is transfer or interference from the mother tongue. Generally, errors made in pronunciation are due to difference in the sound system and spelling symbols between the mother tongue and English. As a regular practice, the teacher is seen as a model for correct speaking in class. The learners are expected to be introduced to the pronunciation of words in English by their teacher during the day-to-day interaction. It is when the teacher herself and himself, okay, when they are teaching in the class, am I visible?
Yes. Yes, ma'am, you're visible and audible.
Okay, just so here it is when the teacher herself or himself has clear pronunciation and that the learners are unable to acquire correct skills in spoken English. The pronunciation samples they are exposed to be in their classroom Environment being inappropriate, the learners are most likely to adopt a similar pronunciation skill. Added to this is the challenge of the physical sound system of the mother tongue of the learners that inhibits the acquisition of the pronunciation and sound system of the second language. It is understood that if the second language is introduced to the learners before puberty, the chances of attaining a native-like pronunciation skill is easier. This challenge can surely be met by using the mother tongue removal tool offered in Good Digital Language Lab. To help reduce this problem in Indian school, it is vital that while on one hand, spoken English be encouraged and promoted. On the other hand, such sound pattern as which are likely to be confused and flattered be identified and drilled. The learner should be able to practice these sound patterns over and over again using a model voice to emulate. So it has been realized that such activities, when done in digital language lab, not only help to eliminate the mother tongue influence, but also hasten the acquisition of the target language. Digital language labs equipped with this facility allows learner to listen to correct pronunciation of a word and they check their own learning during the practice session. So that is very important that the learner should check their own pronunciation while in correct English pronunciation. The emergence of English as a language of business communication globally. So this has brought into focus the issues around teaching this language in school in those parts of the world where it is not the native language. The gap between haves and haves not, the developed and developing countries, urban and rural areas still exist. Over the last few years, this gap has widened due to a variety of factors. Much factor is acquired on behalf of the linguists, the scholars, and the teachers to ensure that the gap between the English literates and English illiterates of the world does not widen, and make efforts to build a bridge between the two halves of the population. It has become necessary to analyze the intricacies of the English language and simplicity, the methods of teaching and learning it. In the Indian mind, the English language symbolizes superior education, rich culture, and high intellect. In India, the study of language acquires a different dimensions altogether due to diverse culture and communities that constitute the nation. So English is one of the language, is three language formula adopted by the Indian government. And English was accepted as the practical solution to the multiplicity of languages in our country. The role of English in the present day life of any Indian and the educational setup of the century can only be determined after one has reviewed the role that English played in India in the past. The origin of this educational setup can be traced back to the first half of the 19th century. In 1835, Lord Macaulay presented in favor of English education. He expressed his desire to produce a class of person in an Indian blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. So he introduced English as a medium of education in India. On a general level, culture is referred the way of people, Therefore, it is quite evident that in order to acquire and develop proficiency in language 2, the learner should be exposed to the culture of the target language to make him visualize and improvise the context so that he might be in a position to understand and demonstrate it in a real situation successfully. Every language lesson is about something and something that is culture. And like if we'll talk about day by day, English started occupying the place of administration all over India. It rooted easily in Indian administration because of the multilingual states in India. Thus, during the British rule, English was the medium of instruction in India, and many people took the opportunity to learn it. Essentially, there are two types of bilingual environment in which children may learn a second language. So, the first is found in children whose parents each one speak different mother tongue, and second in children who are born in a foreign country and remain in permanent contact with the children of that century. When the parents speak different language, their children become bilingual more easily if both adults always speak to their child in their respective mother tongue. Since the language is biological phenomenon, the child will learn to speak to each of his parents in appropriate language. So such children will not even realize they are jumping from one language to the other because they do so unconsciously. So since young children use language mainly for practical purposes, they quickly pick up practical expressions in the appropriate language. Such children become perfectly bilingual because both languages are being acquired while the brain is in period of intense growth and developing a broad variety of neurological connections. Now I will be explaining more with sharing my screen with you all. You can able to see my shared screen. I'm talking about what is exactly the mother tongue is.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, okay. So here you can see the most inhibiting factors of India. Like mother tongue is influence from first generation learners to children who belong to well-educated families. People are trying their best to become proficient speakers. It is closely associated with culture. Now, mother tongue is language of one's native land, and the mother tongue of India is Hindi. So what is the influence of mother tongue? So mother tongue, which is the influence is related to the influential regards of a language which persuades the speaker to adopt the particular language. So India is known for its unique diversity. There are several languages that are spread across the length and the breadth of the country. So to be numeric, if we will see, there are 18 languages spoken in the country and many dialects of that main 18 languages. Now, what is the impact of mother tongue influence? Like we can see the grammatical relationship between the mother tongue and the second language that plays a very vital role, especially when the mother and target language belong to different language families that are not closely related. Now, the worst part of mother tongue influence is that it kills your confidence. An individual as a speaker knows one sound wrong and even funny. It makes you self-conscious and requires hard work and long time to get over. Now, what influence mother tongue? Like mother tongue influence is related So 1 minute, my slide is not moving, I think. Yeah, this has, okay. Now, Indian mother tongue and English. If we talk about both, okay, like there are various mother tongues and English language. So each language has different words, letters, and script. So does each have different sound? Thus, there are some sound which are found in Hindi, but not in English. And some sounds may be found in English, but not in Tamil. This is also one of the language of India. So for example, in the word pleasure, the second syllables is sound found in Hindi. It's not pleasure. It's not pleasure. It is the mix of sound of z and sh. So thus for native Hindi speaker with insufficient English speaking exposure, pronouncing pleasure or measure or leisure correctly takes time and practice. So for that, some pronunciation Indian needs practice because they are mostly influenced by their mother tongue. Now, Indian mother tongue and English. So there are sounds in our regional language which may not exist in English. So when we begin speaking in the second language, that is English, we initially use sound from our mother tongue. Thus, everyone has mother tongue influence to begin with. So with more and more listening to those fluent in the second language, practicing speaking yourself and correcting mistakes, so you slowly learn to replace your mother tongue sounds with the original sounds of English. So to consider some examples, you can easily know where a person comes from by the way he speaks to term it. The accent of the person denotes the belongingness of your certain place. So by seeing the English pronunciation, we come to know from where the person is belongs to. Now, Indian mother tongue and English. For instance, a person whose cultural language is Tamil. When he speaks English, the pronunciation of the consonant M will be yum. Married, pronounced as married, and many more falls in this category. Now, see, there are many reasons behind this. So mainly I'll focus on 3 reasons, like the person has not heard enough English, or the person had not spoken enough English, or person hasn't been corrected enough prior to. So the accent or diction is nothing but reflection of the place you belong. So an American will speak like an American, the British like British, and Indians like Indians. For us Indians, the target should be to reduce our mother tongue influence so much that from Punjabi, Bhojpuri, Tamil, Marathi, Bengali, English speakers, we become an Indian English speaker. So this is very notable point for all my obvious audience. So the journey thus has a 3 main stops. So we will see the journey of Indian in the English context, like non-speaker. Then English, Punjabi, Bhojpuri, then Bengali. Okay, these are the non-speaker, Bengali, Punjabi, Bhojpuri. These are the various languages and the dialects of India. Bhojpuri is one of the dialects of main Hindi language. Then English speaker, and you can see the neutral Indian English speaker. It is very obvious for a well-versed person to point out the correction, but we all need to make ourselves remind that we are all learners. So every human beings are learners. So no one can be termed as a professionals. So we live in a place where we have to preach, each one, teach one. So be it a beginner or be it a learner, learned person. So everyone is at the learning stage. A major reason behind English language being so versatile is also because over the year of its formation and evaluation, it was borrowed words and phrases from all the mother languages of the world, that is Greek, Latin, Sanskrit. So let's keep calm and love English. So that is the main essence of today's program too. Now, with this last, I'll sum up from India by saying Jai Hind. Thank you.
That was a superb presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And your enunciation is very good. You pointed out so many things that really help us and made us think, including about moving towards a common neutrality of Indian English and about the necessity to lessen the gap between people who are English literates and English illiterates, because it's a necessity in today's world, and it's good for social upward mobility of all Indians and the people in the world to learn English well. So I thank you. I would have a lot to say about this, but I think that Professor Reuben has been waiting very patiently for a long time. So I am going to move to him. And sir, I just want to tell you, it's now the world of women. So ladies first. And that's why, you had to wait so long. So moving on from Swati. And again, about her talk, I want to say we should all listen to these talks again and watch the videos, because they're very rich and we can get more if we do that. So I hope we do that with all these talks. And about Reuben Garcia. Now, our next speaker, our last speaker for the day.
Sir, excuse me. Swati ma'am, can the screen sharing be stopped?
You need to unmute yourself, Dr. Swati.
Just the screen sharing stop can we stop that screen sharing? Because Swati ma'am had started it so that we can see the speaker properly.
Yeah, so we can spotlight Reuben.
Yes, yes. You need to
But I want it. Yeah, just a minute. I'll try that. If I stop video, it will go, just because I'm not familiar with this screen sharing with the.
It's on top. There is a marking there. Stop sharing.
Stop video, I can see.
Ma'am, you can log out and log in again.
Yeah, definitely we'll do that.
Yeah.
But the screen, ma'am only has to stop it because she has started the screen.
I think if she logs in again, it won't be there. Refresh.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry for the interruption, sorry.
No, it's okay. Perfectly fine.
No,
Dr.
that's
Koshi, we
okay.
can move ahead.
That's okay. This is part of technology. We
Yes.
face these things. So Reuben Garcia, welcome. Thank you for coming all the way from Lima, Peru to join us and waiting so patiently. He's a teacher of English with 32 years of experience in ESL and ELT. This is something. I have only 26 years experience. He has 32 years of experience in ESL and ELT. He holds a degree in education and is a master of applied linguistics and TESOL from New South Wales, Australia, Macquarie University. He's an outstanding Toastmaster of the year 2012-2013. Now here's something really significant. It's a TKT CLIL and teacher trainer accredited by Cambridge English Language Assessment, part of the University of Cambridge, member of the board of directors at IATEFL Peru, and a very significant person. We are proud to have you with us, sir, and we are sure we will learn something from you, which will enrich us tremendously. You're a Cambridge
Great.
scholar. You're a Cambridge scholar.
Sure. Great.
So he is going
Greetings
to,
from Lima, Peru. This is a very amazing topic. Today we are about to learn more of pronunciation. So what important things we have in pronunciation? Let's take a look to the spoken language. English is the language very much used in education, in global education, and in other fields. Let's take a look at this spoken English that I invite you to reflect on something. Reflect that your voice is a tool, an instrument, and we need to know our instrument, our natural instrument, and we need to see the organs that are involved while we are speaking. And not only in the foreign language, not only on a target language, we need to be very much concerned about this in our own mother tongue. Because we need to articulate, we need to pronounce every single word that we are saying with a correct voice. But how do we know that we are using a good voice or not? Because we need to know our voice. We need to know the sounds that we produce when we are saying words. And that will give you confidence. If you are conscious on this in your own language, you will be unstoppable in learning any language in the world. But know your voice, know your natural instrument, and we have those organs involved. Then we have some movements of our lips. This chart I'm showing you is showing us the position of our lips, our mouth, while saying those sounds in English. We have the sounds in English that are different to different other languages. For example, in my own mother tongue, which is Spanish, I am from Peru in South America. The Spanish influence while learning or trying to say words in English are the influence is very huge, because there are sounds that we have never done, we have never produced in our own life. But we have to do it in order to communicate accurately with native speakers of that language we are planning to talk. But not only that, because what I tell my students is that we are learning English not to talk among Peruvians, not to talk among Latin Americans, we are learning English to have the opportunity to communicate with native English speakers, or not only native English speakers, but native other languages speakers who are saying words in English. So we need to know very much the sounds, but there are no rules, specific rules in sounds, because there are two words with similar spelling pronouncing differently, or words with different spelling pronouncing the same. So that is a matter of imitation. I always tell the students, imitate the sounds. Because if you have great influence, for example, this word, this very simple word, table, table. We all know what a table is. We can have the image in our minds, so we don't need to think into our mother tongue to say table, because we have practiced that, we have learned that, we have heard that since elementary school. But we haven't heard that or pronounced it accurately, probably, because with our great influence of Spanish, we say table, table, but not table, because the first sound is T sound. And that is amazing, because some teachers of English in elementary school, they ask the mothers, they ask the parents to help their children practice for a dictation. And when they tell the mothers some representation of the words, but not with the International Phonetic Alphabet, they represent that way they say it sounds. And they represent that way like table. So when the parents try to help, they are not helping at all. They are giving a wrong model of pronunciation. And it happens. It happens in the schools here in our country, and probably in other countries as well. So we have to master this. What is the way? What is the best way to master this? Look at yourself in the mirror. Sure, and see your mouth. Can you do this? Can you do this? Say the words and see yourself. And you yourself, don't wait for any teacher to correct you. You can do it yourself. So take a look to this, levels of articulation. What do we need to know in those levels of articulation? We have the isolation, words in isolation, sounds in isolation, phonemes, different phonemes like b, t, ish. And syllables. Syllables. Important to take a look to this. Every single sound is important. In Japan, the people say that the words have a soul. Every single word has a soul. So it's important to pronounce the correct sounds of every single word. Tokodama is in Japanese. Words, silation, phonemes, syllables, words. Then we go to the phrases. For example, we say coffee, coffee, a cup of coffee, coffee, a cup of coffee, etc. Then we go to the sentences. I want a cup of coffee. Coffee, a cup of coffee. I want a cup of coffee. Right. And little by little, you get, obviously, when you speak, you need to know what you are saying, because you need to be involved in the situation. We learn by context. Remember, we learn by context. In that way, it is going to be memorable. You won't ever forget about what you're learning. The structure of speech, then we go. And we have the conversation. That is the main thing, conversation. We need communicative skills. Yeah, sure. But one of them communicative skills is to master your voice. And the mastery of your voice, you have to record your voice to listen to yourself. Because the voice that the people listen from you is not the same that you listen to by your own. Try it, record. I tell my students to use the mobile phone. They have a recording thing. That is a great gadget to practice this. So they record and they listen to what they are saying. I say, teacher, I listen to myself. Very strange, really. So you have to work on that in order not to be strange to yourself, because we need to know. And that, the first word that I mentioned was confidence. So that will give you that confidence to express yourself in a foreign language with the right sounds. We are not talking about the accent, because we do have accents since we are not English native speakers. But we can work on pronunciation. We can work on the sounds. The accent is something that you can get. You can get the accent consciously and unconsciously. Consciously, for example, when you live in a non-English speaking country and you repeat, you practice until you sound the closest to the native speaker. That is consciously. But unconsciously, if you are in an English speaking country like the United States, Australia, England, and you, with a daily practice, you get the accent. But you need to know how you sound, you yourself. Then we have the phonetic alphabet. And these are the symbols of the phonemes in consonants. We need to know this. Yes, we are teachers. We are the experts in English language. We need to know how the sounds are represented. But when the student is a beginner, we are not going to teach them the representation of the sounds, because we have to tell them, repeat, repeat, repeat. We need to be the model. We need to give them resources to get the right pronunciation. Thanks to the technology, we have a lot. We have in hand, we have the YouTube, we have everything. We have got very nice resources to work on our pronunciation, to work on the sounds. So this is that we have to know, but we need to know how the representation. And do you know that it's not only, this is the representation. The International Phonetic Alphabet works for all the languages. Have you ever seen the words in your own language represented by the International Phonetic Alphabet? Well, I did. Since I also teach Spanish, I know the representation of the sounds in Spanish words, in Spanish phonemes. That is the International Phonetic Alphabet. So try to determine the features you should work on. There are sounds that are really, really difficult at first. For example, the sound in English that we say measure, measure, measure. Wow, what that different, huh? So not many people can get that sound at the beginning. So we have to work on this. Now, look at speech sound development by age, but the American or native English speakers, what sounds they can produce, what sounds they can produce at the age of 3 years old. We are talking about native English speakers. we have the P, no, the sound, P, and those sounds that are in those numbers. So you can see in progression by the age, they do not produce the sounds at once. It happens in all the languages. You if you are preschool teachers, if you are nursery teachers, or those levels in the school, you can get those. And the same in your own language, you remember. If you see your children, you see your nephews, your nieces, you can get them the sounds little by little of the words. And some children have problems even with the letter R in my mother tongue. Some cannot pronounce the letter R until some age, certain age. But this is what happens in the English language, in the English-speaking countries. Now, take heed and analyze the problems once they arrive. You as an educator, or you as educators, you have to analyze the problems in pronunciation of your students in order then to become aware that they can master a sound through repeating several times. Now, how about the breath control and projection? Breathing is important. Have you ever thought about that? That when you are communicating in your mother tongue, you need to have breath controls in order not to cough or being without air while you are talking, especially for presentations like this. And the projection of your voice is important. And you can know the projection of your voice, how high your voice is or how low you can talk, depending on the people who are listening to you, depending on the listeners. So there are lots of breathing exercises in order to know your voice, to control your voice for the benefit of the speech. Let me share with you English phrases. English phrases, and if we talk about spoken English, which is different from written English, no? Written English is more formal. We are talking about the sounds today. And if we say the normal English and a native speaker, look at that, normal English and native speaker. In normal English, we say, I haven't seen you in ages. But if you live in an English-speaking country, or you listen too much to native English speakers, you can say, long time no see. That is good in order to mean speaking as well. More than the sounds, actually, not more than the sounds, it's the way you speak as well. How you combine those sounds in producing words, in phrases for the conversation. I understand you, I feel you. Yes, native speakers say, I feel you. Wow. But you don't have to think about the literal translation of the words, because they can be adopted as idiomatic expressions. I feel you. Wow. So you are a psychologist or what? To feel me. I'll pay the bill. I'll pay the bill. It's on me. And those like, I made a big mistake. I screwed up. I'm very hungry. I'm starving. Please keep this secret amongst the world. Amongst the world. I'm listening to you. I'm all ears. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Send me a message later. Hit me up later. I don't know. Beats me. I don't have money. I'm broke. But no matter what you say, Say it with a correct pronunciation, with a correct phonemes. And the other ones that I have here, you have to decide, make up your mind. Let's meet today. Let's catch up today. Don't be, this is the one that you have at the end. So we need to improve. Take this tip. Practice is extremely important. You see? Can you read that? It's in phonetic alphabet. Thank you. Thank you very much. Greetings from Lima, Peru.
That was simply awesome. And it was so good to hear your British accent, almost 100% pure, although you are from a Spanish background.
Very nice, Ruben, sir. Very informative.
So to sum up what Dr. Ruben Garcia was saying, he was talking about mastering bilingual assertive communication. And this is very significant. It's something we can start working on whatever age we are in. It's not necessary that you have to be a small child. You can start at whatever age you are. And you can pick up these things so that, yeah, as he said, you are able to be understood by native speakers and by all who speak in English all over the world. And this is a fantastic beginning to this conference. I thank all the speakers. You were all fantastic. We got so much from you. And
Thank you.
Dr. Rachna, thank you for being the driving force. Yeah, each of you were source a rich repository of wisdom and knowledge. Let's hope that everyone makes use of it across the world. So I'm winding up for now. And now Rachna Chakraborty will speak on tomorrow's program, and we'll end the program for today.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kosi. It was really, really a wonderful session, and the delegates really was awesome. There was a lot of takeaways. The ending, I know that Dr. Ruben was there for the ending. I know he was waiting for quite a long time, but the ending was the best, I can say. Of course, everyone was best. Everyone was superb, and there were a lot of takeaways. But then finally, as already Dr. Kosi said, that it's the woman power. So we kept all the women speakers in the front and Dr. Ruben, the best for the end. So everyone, it's a combination, and it was really, really good. I know today there was some technical glitch for the live, but tomorrow, of course, it will not be there. But of course, the recording will be now premiered in the YouTube. I'll be sharing the link with all of you. And this will be viewed by everyone, especially students and educators who are teaching. Everyone, Dr. Swati had a lot of takeaways. Her speech was so profound, so perfect, and every point she has touched in. It's I was really feeling that the concept which I came up with, it was really so nice and so informative. When the time when NADA started, that was also a great learning, the way the concept should come out. And Dr. Tanya gave us a totally new perspective about how to touch on the points. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Gratitude. We will have the felicitation together with all the delegates on the last day. So it's a request that you should all join us. Today, there was little technical glitch in the beginning. So we started little 15 minutes delayed. Otherwise, it was rocking. Thank you so much. And real gratitude. I'm really honored to have you all as speakers today. and our moderator, Dr. Kosi, who is very busy, is an author, writer, but he agreed to be the moderator. And I'm really, really thankful, sir, for hosting this today's show. It was awesome to listen your tips in between the speakers also. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. And just to brief our audience about tomorrow's event, tomorrow also we have the second day, where again we will have a host of speakers. 4 speakers we have kept for every day. And again, a wonderful moderator with a lot of knowledge and skills will be delegating this Global Educators Conference. And tomorrow's topic is another amazing one. It is about the syntax, which we will be speaking about. And syntax, we know it is all in what we say in phrasing or a sentence, words in a phrase. It is used for the proper grammatical sentences and to see the diction and present it. So all this comes when we, as Dr. Rubin already said, that it is very important that how we come up the phrases, how it becomes sentences. So that we will be talking in detail. Today it was about phonetics, which all our speakers and all our delegates had congregated very profoundly and clearly, touching each and every pointers on it and enthralling us with their knowledge and giving us a lot of takeaways. We were really immersed. Actually, I was totally deeply immersed in their knowledge, which I was getting and trying to jot down. I still have the habit of writing, though it's a technical world, technology is running faster, but still I prefer my pen and my paper to write down the points. So it was really nice. And I'm really going to work on all those points which everyone had taken up. So thank you so much. And I know it was a little lengthy today, but of course, anyone would love to ask something in short. I don't want my delegates to be waiting much longer. It's already, I think, 2 hours, 40 minutes. We have been here and we couldn't go. I was seeing all the, whoever is joined in the beginning, there were 25 of them who was there and the room is still with 21. Normally we see towards the end, it's only hardly 10, 9 stays back. But this shows that there were so many takeaways and I am totally, confident that there people were writing down all the tips, taking screenshots also about the knowledge which they gathered today. So thank you very much, whoever has joined us. I was trying to join in all whose videos were on. I could see many. I had added spotlight all those whose videos, but the others I couldn't because your videos are not on. So sorry for that. And I think if you want to ask something to our delegates, and after that we'll end the session. I think Amruji Vishwanath wants to ask something, sir. If you could put your camera
yes,
on.
yes, ma'am. I'm here. Very good evening and good morning to across the country, one and all. I'm very thankful to today's session organizer and a wonderful distinguished guest. Especially, I'm very thankful for Rachna Chakravarti ma'am and for being as a giving a wonderful program on Global Educator Conference on the banner of creative writing modern age. Especially, I'm very thankful to all the distinguished guests also who gave wonderful session informatic. I loved very much that concept on regional language and English language. How we connect, how we communicate through our languages at global platform. Very correlation between the English and our regional language also are there. So I gained a little bit of knowledge on different from different speakers. So it is very wonderful session for sharing or accepting knowledge through wonderful platform through this conference. I am full for today's session and day after today's session also will good. Especially I thankful to all these organizers. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Your words were very encouraging. And on that note, I don't think anybody is having any other questions. Yeah, Noor Ahmed is there. He is also our moderator. He'll be moderating another day. So yes, Noor Ahmed, if you would love to share something.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for giving me the floor. Hi, everyone. This is Ambassador Noor Ahmed from Bangladesh. Yes, today's session is very profound session, I have to say, though I'm not able to connect from the very beginning to end. But I got two speakers and they are sharing phenomenally, I have to say. Yes, we have to, lot of things we have to take away. And this session is like very live and very, what should I say? Very amazing session. And yes, our today's moderator, this respective person, Ampath, sir, you are doing great. And yes, I have learned something from you. Hope to see you soon. And thank you for the great session. And yes, not last one, but not the least, Rachana sister, thank you so much for well organized and great beginning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Noor Ahmed. I know your mother was not well today. You were in hospital. So, but thankfully you joined us because your mother is all well now. So thank you for joining in. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It really means a lot.
Thank you, one and all.
Yes, and we have Mahua ma'am also. She's also another moderator for the Global Educators Conference. So we would love to listen from her, just few words.
Yes, I'll make it very quick. Greetings to everyone from India. And I loved all the eminent speakers. Thank you so much, enriched with English language. But I specifically want to thank Ruben sir because he gave such insightful knowledge with the breathing techniques relating science to English and voice and pronunciation, where I have noted, as Rachna ma'am said, that she has a habit of writing it down. Same with me, even if technology goes, because I feel writing always have an imprint on your brain, you remember better. So I always do that. And I have noted down, sir, regarding the alveolar, post-alveolar, how the throat, portion of the throat to the lungs, how breathing helps, the way of to breathe actually leads to voice and pronunciation, everything. That takeaway was excellent. Thank you once again, sir. And thanks to all the speakers and Koshi sir and Rachna ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Moa ma'am. Thank you. It was really very, very inspiring. And I think it was really done with that, whatever the motive was, it is fulfilled. Especially our students was facing a lot of problems about the TOEFL English and IELTS and TOEFL English in India. So there were a lot of queries coming in. So that is how I came up with the concept that we should have all the educators together in a platform. And since we cannot make everyone speak in a day, so we will divide it into 4 days. And that was the idea behind it. So hopefully the other 2 days, it will go a little faster in the sense, like we will listen to everyone's, as well as it will be a little more fast. We will not keep you for 2-3 hours together, I promise you. So please do join tomorrow also. And all those who are hearing us, do be with us tomorrow and day after till 23rd, the delegations will be going on, and wonderful speakers we have lined up, and they are all intelligent and they are knowledgeable in their power of their vocabulary, the skills about English language. They're excellent. So thank you so much once again. Stay safe. We'll meet again 7 o'clock tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
And thanks to
Hey, Rachna,
everyone.
thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank
bye.
you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Ma'am, if possible, could you live on Facebook for tomorrow?